Here in this General Post Office, Dublin, and they call themselves, for the first time, the Irish Republican Army, the IRA. Amongst the rebels in here was Michael Collins, now a very young staff captain. The truth is that very few of the Irish nation supported this quixotic revolt. The vast majority of the Irish people thought of these revolutionaries as a scandalous joke. Indeed, it was as much a shock to the Irish people generally as it was to the English army when it dawned on them what was going on. Suddenly, a flag, the Irish tricolour, went up. And then from out of this post office came Patrick Pearse, and he read a proclamation to the astonished passers-by. Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which he receives her own tradition of nationhood, Ireland through us summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. We pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government of the Irish Republic. And then the English cordoned off the area and opened fire with every gun they could lay their hands on, including a warship of sorts out there on the River Liffey. Soon they were dead and dying inside this post office. But to the English army's astonishment, the poets and the lawyers and the school teachers hit back and inflicted heavy casualties. One group of English reinforcements lost half their number at the hands of a group of volunteers commanded by a young schoolmaster named Eamon de Valera, today's 84-year-old president of this republic. Days went by and the post office began to burn. James Connolly, poet turned commandant general, was wounded and lay on a stretcher. Michael Collins described what he saw and felt inside this post office. Although I was never actually scared in the GPO, I was, and others also, witless enough to do the most stupid things. As the flames and heat increased, so apparently did the English shelling. Machine gun fire made escape more or less impossible. Not that we wished to escape. No man wished to budge. In that building, the defiance of our men and the gallantry reached unimaginable proportions. 6 days later, they were still fighting. One rebel patriot, Carl Brewer, received 25 bullet wounds fighting here in Dublin and lived. People said that as he walked, you could hear the English bullets rattling in him. And then, at 3:45 p.m. on Saturday, 29th of April, 1916, Patrick Pearse, barrister and poet, issued his note of unconditional surrender in order to prevent the further slaughter of Dublin citizens, and in the hope of saving the lives of our followers now surrounded and hopelessly outnumbered, members of the Provisional Government present at headquarters have agreed to an unconditional surrender. The Irish prisoners were marched up O'Connell Street, past this Parnell monument, which prophetically quotes the old leader, "No man has the right to fix the boundary to the march of a nation." No man has the right to fix the boundary to the march of a nation. The prisoners were surrounded by a tight ring of fixed bayonets and machine guns pointed at them. The English soldiers dug a giant grave, and gay, boyish Michael Collins became a hard man. He witnessed appalling cruelty. One English officer, though unhappily an Irishman by birth, a Captain Lee Wilson, selected victim after victim, and finally settled on old Tom Clark, who incidentally had spent 16 years of his life in English prisons for political offenses. Captain Wilson had the old patriot stripped in front of watching women and tortured him till he bled.
it is recorded that neither Tom Clark nor any of the other victims uttered a word. But Michael Collins watched, and the day came when he found Captain Lee Wilson on a quiet country road in County Wexford, and Michael Collins had him shot dead